Yo, Dan Larson here, welcome to the newest episode of Letsynthesize. In this video, I would like to show you how to make this future bass drop. I will only talk about this soft chord step stuff here, because the rest of it is really about the drums and one arpeggio loop here. But first let me tell you that this pack, which is from my Future Bass Generations pack, this one here, is on sale. So use this code, this promotion code, to have 15% off, maybe, if I'm right. So head over to Loopmasters, because this sale is on until the 14th of April. And another good news is that this pack, Drum and Bass Science, is on sale also, and use this promotion code to receive 15% off from the regular price. So head over to Loopmasters. I think it is a really great offer. But without further ado, let's hop into this chord step, future bass chord step. So it contains 3 layers. We have the regular saw layer, we have a bass layer, and another bass layer. But first, without getting into the details, let me show you that I added a few effects to it, and on their own they sound like this. Well, altogether they sound this. So it's pretty bad. So we had to make a few tweaks here and there. But first, let me show you the main saw pad, which comes from Smith. It's a very, very simple patch, like always. Well, most of the future bass chord saw steps are pretty easy to make. These contain 2 saw oscillators, basically, with one of these 7 and the other one is on 5 unison voices. And I use just a pinch of comp filter to make the sound a little more interesting. It brings up some interesting tones, and just a compressor OTT and some EQ to cut down the lows and the highs, because I will use another separate bass layer for that. So this is a sub layer, but never mind, this is not really important now. This is the this is the saw filter, and it is a little more interesting thing here that I use this dimension expander rack, which I gave out a few weeks or a few months later in a previous Synthesize Sunday episode. So if you're interested and you haven't seen that, go and find it on my channel. I will drop a link below, you will find it easier. And it gives a pretty interesting tone to it, especially, it expands stereo field really heavily, but it gives some more tone to it too. So this is the original without the rack, and with the rack. And another EQ just, cut a little on the highs and on the lows again. And the limiter is not very important stuff. Let's check the very basic bass layer. It's another saw only, with a noise and some distortion and some filter to cut out the lows again. Basically, I cut the lows and the highs at the same time, because this is a multi-filter with a low and a high bass filter, so I cut out the lows and the highs at the same time. It's most like a bandpass filter, but it is more because I can set the bandwidth this way. With a regular bandpass filter, usually I cannot, and it is impossible to set the bandwidth. But this way I can set the bandwidth, so I can decide how much I want to cut the lows and the highs. So it is a pretty cool stuff here in Serum. So a very, very basic sound. And I have another bass layer which basically gives the very characteristic of the sound. And this is an interesting thing, because I made Well, I haven't finished it, but I started to make a dubstep tune, and I took the main bass from it, which I made using FM8, and I imported it in Serum and started to tweak it a little, but not too much, just a little. And this is the song. Okay, not this. So this is the main bass, this owa owa. And here is the bass on itself. Something like that. It's not 100% accurate. I mean, it is not completely the same. I just exported one shot from it. And imported it in the Serum. Let's see the stuff itself. Here is my beautiful growly sound. So what I did here is apply this asymmetric plus warp mode. This is the original sound. And I didn't do too much, I just added a hyper to, you know, spread the stereo field. A little distortion, not too much. High, well, it's a multi again, it's a high and a bandpass filter at the same time. And I automated using this envelope, the cutoff. I mean, the cutoff for the high and the cutoff for the bandpass filter. With also an EQ peak. So altogether, these effects, the filters, the EQ, and the wavetable position knob, basically, gives the movement to the sound. As you can hear, without the filters and the EQ, it's just very flat. And the OTT at the end of the chain, of course, like basically always. Now, this time we have the main stack. And this time I had to think that, okay, this is pretty cool sounding, but it is very boring on its own. Let me show you that even with sidechaining, it's just not very interesting, and it doesn't sound very cool. So I had to decide what to do, and just an idea came into my mind that why don't we start like filtering the whole chain and the whole stack, not only the saw or the bass or something, but all together on a group. So I added the Serum FX here, which is a pretty nice tool to do this. And well, this is not too much here. I just tweaked an add bass filter here in miscellaneous. This is an add bass filter. Let me show you what it does. Just let me unclick the rest of it, even the sidechaining. So as you can see, this add bass filter cutoff plays a little on the highs. So adds a little movement to it. And then OTT brings back a little of that character what the filter just, you know, cuts out. It's a nice way to make the sound move, but don't lose too much character and too much highs with the OTT. Okay, so the next step was adding another Serum FX, and this time the hyper and another OTT brings up the sound, brings up the highs and the tones to just push it into your face a little more. And I also use an EQ to cut out the lows because we really don't need that, because OTT always brings up the low end of the sound too, not only the highs and the middles, but the bass too, bass part of the sound too. So I had to cut it out again. And now it's interesting, but some weird frequencies came out. So I had to EQ it again. I cut out the lows again and just boosted up the highs a little. but there are some annoying frequencies. Well, basically, you always need to be really careful at around 5,000 hertz, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 hertz, because those are those paper distortion, noisy kind of frequencies. What you really need to take care of. They just, it doesn't sound good in the mix, well, most of the cases, and you really need to take care of that, really. So this is why I use a cut, or just you know, or just decrease a little this frequency area. As you can hear, it's very annoying, like noisy kind of frequencies, but really need to take care and just, you know, just decrease it a little. And it instantly sounds a lot better. Okay, I had to do the same at around 300 hertz. Those middle basses are very annoying to the ear also. And I added back the middle little. Not too much, just a little, because this bass growly patch or preset, serum preset, gives a very nice tone, what I didn't want to lose, so I had to give it back this little bend on the EQ. And the highs again, as I told you before. And the sidechain and the limiter at the end. I know it's not complicated, because basically future bass is not a very complicated style sound design wise, but in musical or just, you know, idea wise, it can be tricky. And I very enjoyed making this pack, especially because of this, you know, to find some good ideas. And I hope you will find my pack, my future bass pack, exciting in this way. It's a little jazzy and it contains some nice ideas here and there, I believe. And just very short, let me show you the sequel of this sequence. Where I just cut out all the basses here, and I try to find another way to, you know, just continue this little loop. Or, well, this is not a loop, this is a song, a very short song, using another serum FX, where I use a different kind of filtering, which gives a different movement to the sound. And this is the sound itself, or the Serum FX plugin itself, which makes the sound itself, which is a normal BMG low 6 filter. And as you can see, an LE41 gives the stack or this kind of arpeggiator kind of sound to the loop, to the saw. With the reverb, it's not very complicated. It's just a simple sound. But altogether, I pretty like what I had. Let me show you from the beginning. And this little kit, what you hear, you can find in the pack, the whole stuff in the pack. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little overview and tutorial on this future bass stack chord stab stuff. So if you liked it, please head over to Loopmaster's site and purchase a pack. It is on sale again, as I told you before, or the Neuro Drum and Bass Science, not Silence, Science pack, which is on sale again. Down below you will find the links and all you need to know about it. So drop a thumbs up, drop your comment, share my videos please, and see you next week guys. Bye bye.